2026 is going to be about turning 3D into my freelance career. Hello, welcome back to another video. My name is Cameron, and first of all, it's been a couple of months since I last updated you guys. Now, don't worry, I've been continuing my 3D almost every single day. In fact, I've managed to finish the rest of Mario Elements's course. I mean, we went through the piston, the weapon, and the motorbike, and then I also tackled this drone project as well, which was really interesting. Now, this project really marks the end of my learning phase on my 3D journey, which I'm really excited about. So what are my goals for 2026 and what am I doing with this? So I want to get a paying 3D client by July. So it's January right now. So we've got like, say, 4 or 5 months to make a portfolio and, start getting some clients. Now, you're probably thinking that window is crazy. That's such a long time, 6 months. But I'm also giving myself a little bit of a grace period for, things that I don't really know. Like, I don't know how long a personal 3D project is going to take. The first thing is that for my portfolio, I need to have between 3 and 5 personal projects for the work that I'm really aiming for. But I am taking into consideration that one project might take a month. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go over to my desk. I've done some research and I've done some things that I want to talk to you about. So let's do that and let's start this journey. To start with, I kind of researched around the internet. I went on ArtStation, I went on Pinterest, I went on Instagram. I just kind of pulled references and inspiration of some of the things that I liked, like some taste references, the kind of projects that I would wish that I would have made, right? Put that into ChatGPT, and it turns out that I lean towards engineered human interface products, so game controllers, headphones, keyboards. I already know from my video career, I want to be a lot more craft orientated with my 3D. I want to almost be like hired by an agency to just fulfill the modeling role, even though I may or may not be able to handle doing texturing and also animation and modeling. I only want to be paid for doing modeling, and then because I know that, I can then start thinking about, okay, what can I include in that portfolio to speak to someone like an agency? Because when you're working with agencies, they really value communication, reliability, workflow, whereas with a client, they don't really care about your workflow or how you do things. They more so care about the results of a project. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share. At least this is my approach to this and my thought process, and yeah. This is basically what I want my portfolio to look like. These 3 projects together, I think, sit really well. And I love how they incorporate sort of similar things. They're very clean, they're very sleek, they're all tech-based. With that, what is the first project that I want to make? So I actually think I'm going to make this in the middle. I'm going to make something like a game controller. Zooming out here a little bit, I've done some research. This is kind of where I started. Like, I really like the retro consoles, like the GameCube, the N64, stuff like that. And I really loved this from this Xavier Fliberte, I hope I'm saying that right. I took kind of inspiration just like seeing this and thinking, I want to make something like that. In a way, like, I'm trying to really stay grounded in my taste and what I actually like. Like, if you're an artist or a creative that knows what you like, you're not trying to like impress everyone. Like, the people who really appreciate your kind of portfolio and your style of work will be the ones that appreciate paying you what you ask for. And I thought, yeah, man, like, I want to make some retro stuff. And then I came across this. This is 3D. I have never seen a more realistic looking 3D prop or whatever in my life. I figured, I would like to make a game controller for the PlayStation 2. So this is the DualShock 2, I believe. I've got some like other references here, like I've got other people's 3D work, just some topology references just in general. Not necessarily to copy the geometry, just to kind of give me an idea or see just how other people have done it. One of the things as well is I might end up using this person's sort of like orthographic views just to kind of get my proportions and scale correct, because these ones over here with the blueprints, I don't think they're actually accurate. However, my concern with that is if they've done any proportion mistakes or anything like that, and I'm basing my stuff off someone else's project, I'm going to inherit any of the problems that they also implemented. So if I go over here, I've got some real world references, and I've made a conscious effort to get some ones that where I can see like kind of the details clearly, but then I've also got some more contrasty close-up stuff. And then I've even made sure to get a different colored version in case it highlights anything that I can't see on the black controller. That is my references that I'm going with for now. And when you're 3D modeling, you're not necessarily trying to be forensically correct, like with the proportions and with the measurements and all that stuff. That's really for, like a CAD program where they're going to be making it based off that CAD design. But with this, I've heard that my job is technically just to make it look believable. As long as it looks correct to the eye and to 3D and, to the perspectives that we're going to be using, it's okay. All right, yeah, that's it for my references. And again, like, I really like having the portfolio at the top. It kind of reminds me what I'm aiming for, and at the end of all of these projects, like, this is something that is worthwhile, right? I'm going to get into modeling, I'm going to throw some music on and really get into it and just go from there. Okay, so we're in the viewport here, and I started off by just getting the general primitive shapes blocked out. You know, like we've got like these two cylinders that I can see on the top of the controller. We've also got the trigger and obviously the grip. And so really my thought process is, as long as I can just get something into the viewport, I can just worry about, you know, proportions and kind of like shaping things a little bit later, even if it means that I need to recreate more cylinders and like add them and delete the old ones. Like that's fine, but I just want to get like the general shape into the viewport here. I actually remade this block out probably 5 times because I was trying to figure out different approaches for the same area. And then later on, it was also about, okay, now I'm happy with that. What's the best topology approach? Like, which way does the topology have to go so that I can make this cross section for the buttons? And I've got to say, though, I struggled with self-belief for the block out of this project. I was questioning myself and my skills and kind of like my eye and my ability and wondering if I was doing things right. And it's kind of made me realize that I think that's completely normal. Like, because you are questioning yourself, it's almost like, well, you're supposed to. You are trying to find the best way to approach the start of the model. Like, it's the experimentation phase, and you almost can't be afraid of experimentation because it's almost like it's not a fault, it's a feature. Does that make sense? Like, it's part of the modeling process that you're going to be poking around and being like, how the hell do I start this? Well, if you try multiple different ways, you'll figure it out. And so that's been a really strong point for me with modeling this block out, that it's really helped me understand that you are supposed to ask questions. You aren't supposed to be trying a 16-sided cylinder, and then if that doesn't look that good, then try it with a 20, then try it with a 24, then try it with a 28. And you just keep going until you've answered enough questions for you to be able to move forward. And I really feel like it's good to not be put off by you having loads of questions because, as I've said, it's not a bug, it's a feature. I went with a 32-sided cylinder, and as you can see with these curves on these edges right here, if I flick this on and off, you can see that it pretty much matches the reference. And you can also see that I'm using the reference from another 3D model, and I'm also cross-referencing it with real world. One of the things that I obviously have left is the bottom and also where the grips are going to go, because the grips, they extrude out from around sort of like here, something like this. And honestly, I'm really happy with where I've got with this. And I feel like, I don't know, yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it. I've had music playing. I've discovered more music on Spotify in the last 6 hours than I have in my entire life because I've just had it going on shuffle. Overall, super, super happy. And if I turn it to silver, then you can see this as well. I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm just very, very happy with that. It's looking really good. That's all I have to say. So tomorrow, it's currently 2:40 in the morning. It's 20 to 3. So I'm going to go to bed now, and I will pick this up tomorrow. And hopefully once I've got the grips done, I can just go full on into the grips, getting the secondaries finalized, and then going into the details. And then hopefully maybe by tomorrow evening, or maybe, you know, next week, I'll have this project done. And then that'll be, you know, moving into texturing and lighting and wireframe renders and stuff. And that'll be the first project done for the portfolio. So yeah, I'm very happy. Yeah, I forgot to sign this video off last night after I finished, but I did have another go today at doing some of the grip and trying to get that organic shape. And I'm not gonna lie, it is way harder than I was expecting it to be. I think the organic shapes are something that I don't want to say that everyone struggles with, but as far as I can tell, it is an obstacle that everyone kind of has to figure out as they're modeling and as they're making it. So this is my first time doing it. But yeah, guys, this is the first episode, or should I say part 1, of my portfolio making on my 3D journey. And I'm so excited because, again, with the nature of these videos and the way that I'm uploading them now, they should be a lot more frequent. And so I'm excited to complete this portfolio project, but also to see you in the next video as well. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in a week or two. Bye!